Hello and welcome back to another CM Travels video. I'm so excited to be sharing the information with you today. We're going to be talking about the Nikon 50mm F1.2 S lens. Cue the intro. Just like to say a welcome back to our current subscribers. If you like the content today, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Do that, thank you very much. Now, it's quite an amazing feat what Nikon have been able to do, at least the start of the 1.2 series lenses. Mainly because of the big mount, which allows them to create the crazy big lenses that you're seeing me on now. As a quick comparison, I'm going to switch over to the 1.8 35mm. I'm sorry I don't have the 50mm, but just take a look in the background at the lights behind me here, which allows you to see. Nice boat gear, no? Back to the 50mm. Again, look in the background at the lovely lights over here somewhere. I'm not going to turn my face because otherwise it's going to lose the focus. But that amazing bit of bokeh can really improve the shot. Now, of course, not really comparison with a 35mm, but believe me, I can see a huge difference in the bokeh. I actually filmed, or did some filming with the 50mm f1.2 while I was reviewing the knocked Nikon 58mm f0.95. If you haven't seen that video already, you can see it there. Fantastic breaking boundaries lens, absolutely amazing. And I filmed that whole introduction sequence, which you can see in this little square, using the 50mm f1.2 lens. I had it on manual focus and focus peaking on, of course, which allowed me to see where the focus was. And it was, I think, quite a cool introduction. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you enjoy introductions? Do you just want me to get straight into the content? Let me know, that helps me keep bringing you cool content. As a small reminder to what life used to be like, let's have a quick look at the 50mm f1.2. I think this is the D lens. Now, I use this lens with the Z5 with the FTZ adapter. If you're interested in seeing that video, head to this link here. The comparison with this old school lens and the new 50mm is that the 50mm is much sharper. I even mentioned in the video that this gets you much more, it's way softer at 1.2, and really, in order to get focus, even with focus peaking, it's very difficult. I struggled, and I know I've even had a comment, you know who you are, you've said as well that it didn't work, or even the 50mm f1.2 G lens, I think as well, people have been struggling to get focus with that. And this is where this new 50mm takes you up to another level. It's much sharper. The bokeh, I think, is better in that it is sharper but not sharper compared to the more dreamy haze that we got with the old lenses. Now, the 50mm is f1.2 shouldn't be replacing, or at least I don't think shouldn't be replacing your 1.8 50mm. I think it is quite specific to the kind of photographer that you might be, or the kind of photographs that you're going to get. It will make your subject pop out a lot more. Here are some photographs of the snow this morning, and it's as close as you can maybe get to that knocked 0.95 look, but at a much cheaper, it's not cheap, but it's cheaper than the knocked lens. I was using it on manual focus with the focus peaking on. I think as a film lens, it's going to be absolutely fantastic, as I had such fun using it, filming the knocked lens. I think it is a unique perspective. It's much more cropped in, so if you're filming people or close-ups, slow motions, this lens is going to be really, really fantastic. And paired, it's currently on the Z6 II. I'm not filming in 4K because if you haven't seen my previous video on why I'm not filming on 4K, you can check it out here. It's actually unboxing this big screen, and I got a whole kit here, but I'm still waiting for the Mac Mini to arrive in order for me to edit 4K, because my current computer, no chance. And I mean, even the HD quality is fantastic, but the 4K is coming next year, so if you're keen to see the 4K stuff, it's coming, don't worry, I'm helping out. But as a film lens, the 50mm, that nifty 50, which we have heard about throughout history of photography, I think it's a valuable lens to have in your kit. The next point, it's much, much bigger. I'm filming with it at the moment, so I can't show you how big it is, but it is much bigger than the 50mm f1.8. In terms of a travel lens, unless it's the only lens you're going to be taking with you and you have a specific idea in mind, and the more I think about it, my introduction to photography really came, or took a step up, when I bought the Canon 5D Mark I, literally Mark I, a few years ago, and I got it at a cheap price. It was well used, and what it allowed me to do was invest in some nice glass, which actually I have back here. Maybe you'll see across here on the 35mm, the glass here. I invested in a 300mm f4 fixed because I'm a wildlife photographer and I enjoy that length, or that focal length. Plus the f4 gave me some real depth of field and I could afford it. Of course, the 300mm f2.8 would have been lovely, but it's much more expensive. I also got it's scratched on the lens, but you don't see it in any of the photographs, which I got an absolute steal for the 24-105. Also f4, which is a very nice lens. And then a third-party Sigma 14mm f2.8, which I took photographs of the Northern Lights in Tromsø up here. You can see that was really my introduction to f2.8 lenses and the craziness that you can get with them, because I needed that for the dark night skies, for the crazy Northern Lights that you get, which is magic. I definitely or highly recommend it. And having the chance now to use these Nikon cameras and the gear and the lenses and the lower the f-stop, it's really, really fantastic. And right now I think your best deal is a second-hand or refurbished Z6, and pairing it with some amazing prime lenses, particularly if you're taking portraits, even commercial work for small products. Of course, if you're shooting like big cars, then of course that's not a good idea, but I highly recommend this lens. It is very specific. I don't think it's going to be for your everyday photographer, and if you have a project in mind, rent the gear out, see what it's like. I have been blown away by the F1.2, simply because I love the depth of field. That's what I love about photography. I like to get that smooth bokeh. I like to separate everything else from the subject that I'm trying to capture, and that can be a way of telling a story as well. I look back, with wildlife it's slightly different because they're further away, but the closer things are, the more you need to realize or see how close something is behind it. Switching over to the 35mm f1.8, so I can give you finally a close-up of the camera, of the lens. Some really nice bit of info here, of course, is that you have the display screen, which you don't get with the 1.8. You also have a function button here on the just next to the display button. The function or function changing ring, so you can set the ring to be on aperture or ISO or whatever you would like. There's a range of different function options that you can have with this lens, which is really fantastic, particularly if you're shooting in manual. It's nice and fast, and if you have it on autofocus, and you can just have it there to change if you want to, whatever it might be. It's a really nifty thing to have. But their overall size and build quality seems fantastic. I like the fact that they haven't added some gold ring or a red ring or made it white, with considering that it's the higher end 1.2 and not the 1.8. I don't That's just a personal preference. I hate the white lenses, if I'm honest. If I could, it just means I need to spend money on a cover for it. And that's what I really like about all the S lenses that we've seen in the range so far from Nikon, that they're all this nice uniform black color. The build quality is really good. It's all metal. I mean, of course not the back and the front covers, but it's solid and so nice in the hand, so nice when you're shooting with it as well. What it does, I think, need when you're getting the big lenses like this for balance is a battery pack. In this one, for if you're using the Z6 one or the Z7 one, this battery pack, the MD-N10 battery pack, just in order to balance it out. And what I'll do quickly is put this on the Z6, put the lens on so you can have a quick look. Wait right there. Nice thing as well with this whole setup is that you can easily remove the door. I say easily. I'm so scared to break it. There we go. Easy, not broken. It has a beautiful little spot where you can put it here on the grip. Let me put some light on there. So it slots in there. Then just like that. Then put it straight in. Has a nice lock just on the back, no lock on the front. If you're interested in seeing the video that I did with about the battery pack, head to that here if I haven't already done it. Little pop-up. Nice thing with this battery pack is that you have that side, as well as you have two open slots basically where the batteries can go in. I only have one battery here with me at the moment, the other one's charging, so we'll put that in quickly. Has a nice little check, tells me battery A, pretty good, should work. Let's pop on the lens quickly. Oh, so good all the time. I love that click sound. Pop that off. Okay, and there you have it. That's in terms of, you unfortunately with the battery pack on the Z6 and the Z7, the first editions, there's no buttons. It's just a battery pack. It's not a battery grip. So that's something to keep in mind. But of course, if you're willing to shoot portrait like that, I mean, instead of your hand being there, you can just keep your hand like that. And while that might bother some photographers, it certainly doesn't bother me, because I'm more worried about, if I have the lens in my hand, feeling a bit more balance. And with that setup there, you can really feel a little bit more balance because of the size of the lens in the front. The front element is of course much bigger than the 50mm is much smaller, and I think if you had to put it on a tripod, for example, it would feel a lot more solid at least. So if you're going to get these bigger glass lenses for feel and ergonomic sake, I would definitely invest in the battery pack. The battery pack as well just allows you to as well have longer battery life if you're on shoot, and you can hot shoe. As I said, if you're keen to hear more about the battery pack, here's a link to that video here if you haven't seen it already. I'm now just going to take it off and give you a quick comparison with the body without this on. have to say this little door here has a space for the door. It's just genius. Really easy to put that back in. Okay, so there you have it. Back in now. For me, that ergonomically, it feels a little bit heavy on the front. I don't have big hands at all, so that's kind of what it is there. But as I say, you know, I can, if I have, so right now the function of the wheel is the ring, the focus, not the focus ring, the function ring is on aperture, so it's so easy to change. It's so nice and smooth. As well, of course, it's just so smooth here. You have the display here on the front. See if you can see that. I can take it off my neck now. You can see the display. And of course, you can turn the display to meters, into feet if you like. You can add this function button at the moment, which for me is still, yeah, it needs to, I haven't actually assigned it. I mean, this lens I've just got it in, so I haven't actually assigned it a function, but you're welcome to assign it a function as well. I think if I had a combo, I'd have still this as an aperture control, and perhaps that there, because you can be changing, sorry, it's awkward to kind of do this, but you could be changing your aperture with this finger here. Let me get the better light. With this finger here, then here my thumb is already on the function button, which I could then assign to my shutter priority if I'd like, or the ISO, and that really helps me out. And then of course you can, so I can do all three of those things. I can focus, I can change the aperture, and so easily change the ISO. It's all just so ergonomically thought about. But as I say, without the battery grip, it does feel a bit heavy on the front while using the small mirrorless system. And there's not too much size difference between the Z7 and the Z6, the Z7 and the Z7 II and the Z6 II are very similar in size and weight. So for me, I would, if you still have the Z6 I or the Z7 I, I'd go with the battery grip, going with this lens. Or if you have the Z6 II or the Z7 II, definitely see if you have the means to get the battery grip, which I have actually. I'm currently filming on it now, not filming on it, but it's on the Z6 II, which is what you're seeing me on now. I have to admit I like the battery grip, particularly with this big lens, which I'm going to be doing a lot of filming with now, so it's permanently on the Z6 II. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I really did try to get the lens in front of the camera. One of the comments from the subscribers said that I was talking too much or whatever it was, and I hope today I have shown you enough of the lens, shown you what it really looks like on the camera, as well on the battery grip in my hands, how I would set it up ergonomically. I've really enjoyed bringing you the content today, and if you've liked it, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, the little red button. Do that, that helps us keep bringing you amazing content. And for those of you who have stayed this long, it's been awesome having you. I just wanted to show you our, these are the the ladies' tees, the 100% organic cotton, which I think is fantastic. Unfortunately, they don't ship the 100% organic cotton to the US, but please do drop me leave a comment down below, and we can send you a link to another US distributor. But these are the white with the black design, CN Travels, and of course the blue with the white logo. These are the ladies fit. There are unisex ones as well, which are a bit bigger, and I'm currently wearing the grey men's as well, the round neck, and my white, don't put your white shirts with different colors, because all of my white ones now have gone blue. Well done, Murray. But just again, a huge thank you to all of the current subscribers for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it and been entertained today. I'm going to be doing more reviews, as I say, with the battery grips. I'm really hoping to now that I'm solidly using a Z6 II, doing more comparisons and a feel with it with the Z6 I, and using them both for a few weeks and taking them out with me and really giving you more in-depth reviews of that. If you haven't seen already the review I did of the Z6 I versus the Z6 II, you can check that out there. And all of the links for the t-shirts, the link to our website, CM Travels, is in the description below. Go ahead, read the description. There's be some funny antics in there as well. And of course, we'll see you in the next one.